Now you got to feel sorry for our next guest. He's splitting his time between the Waldorf Hotel and Galiano Island, the best of both worlds in British Columbia.
Yes, you've met photojournalist Kris Krug on our show before. His beard, ladies and gentlemen, is magnificent.
You do have a very sweet beard.
Do you trim that, or is this natural?
I don't trim it, and it grows twice as fast out on Galiano Island, so it's really been coming.
It's the water. It's something there. Totally. It just promotes growth.
Okay, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the giant bowl of lighters that are in front of us. This is such a sad story. Tell us where these are from and where you found them.
I just got back from Midway Island, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And you may have heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is this big swirling mess of plastic material in the ocean. And Midway is situated right at the apex of it.
Right.
And it's 2,000 miles from anything, and these seabirds come and lay their nests there and their eggs and stuff. And so these lighters I've pulled from the bellies of dead baby albatross.
How does that happen?
Yes.
I mean, we know there's garbage there from all over the world, literally from China, from Russia, from here, everywhere, and it's all there, but what happens?
It's awful. So these birds have never left the island. They've never fed themselves, right? So the mama swims out to sea looking for fish eggs, and this one looks like salmon eggs or something attached to a stick. And she grabs it and brings it back and baby birds it to the little chick. And after a couple weeks of that, they die of dehydration and starvation because they can't eat real food,
blocks
right?
everything up.
And we've got some photos here of you. What is the message that you hope people take from seeing this bowl of lighters and looking at that little albatross right there?
For me, the easiest thing to do is refuse single-use disposable plastic. So refuse the plastic water bottles, use matches instead of a lighter. Just think about the longevity of this. It's a beautiful material made for certain things, but things that you throw away after 5 minutes of use are not the right
Boy,
thing.
it's humbling seeing that, because you think to yourself of all the years and how many parties you've been to, and you lose your lighter and whatever, and it's mindless, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about what happens to it. And
you don't think about so many different things. Like, I happen to gravitate towards the lighters, but there was, Happy Meal toys, Fisher-Price Little People and Weeble Wobbles from when we were children.
Wow.
Every manner of shampoo, cap of thing. I mean, everything that passes through your life that you just forgot about, you thought it went away.
Yeah, it didn't
It's somewhere.
go away.
How stunning is that, though? I mean, to have it right in front of you and just have it there and sort of in your face, and like all that crap that you forgot about, you thought you just lost. It might be right here, floating around in a big pile of crap.
It punches you in the stomach when you see something that you used to have. Like for me, it was the Fisher-Price Little People.
The Weebles for me.
Yeah. But there's also this paradox that takes place there. You're on this island away from everything. You're watching the circle of life with the babies growing up and the mama's coming back. And so it's beautiful on one hand.
And bam, we wrecked it.
Yeah, and then tragic on this other hand. You feel so connected to nature and then so at odds with it at the same time.
And yet a simple solution, right? At the same point.
Don't buy plastic lighters, but we want to move on to happy
plastic
stuff.
water bottles.
Yes,
Happy Meal toys. Refuse the Happy Meal
plastic.
Don't buy them. Okay, let's move on to the Waldorf, a piece of history in Vancouver that has had a facelift.
That's right.
What the heck are you doing there?
Well, there's a bunch of artists kind of living there. There's so many things going on at the Waldorf Hotel. It's this old East Hastings, East Side hotel that some guys bought and refurbished and really have a vision of it being kind of the...
And they kept the tiki bar, thank you.
Yeah, the tiki bar.
You gotta.
They turned the tiki bar into an all analog sound system. So there's no CDs, no MP3s. It's all analog speakers, analog amplifiers, and just the best.
Awesome.
You can go catch Rat Pack Jazz and classic cocktails one night.
And this has become a real cultural and artistic hub in the city as well. And it's just sort of, it happened obviously with some effort from a few people as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool musicians, artists, photographers living there. There's a lot of people doing really kind of avant-garde programming. I mean, the coolest thing about living there is I can just wander downstairs and catch these bands that I've never heard of that end up being, just epic, and you'll read about them the next day. They're the hottest band in the world, and they just happen to be playing.
So and what's the Douglas Copeland connection?
Yeah, Douglas Copeland worked on a pretty cool project in conjunction with the Waldorf Hotel. It was Marshall McLuhan versus YouTube. So it was a series of things. He invited everyone in, and we kind of surfed YouTube together. He was on stage, and he was just talking about McLuhan's ideas and kind of the manifest of the internet. And then I also got to collaborate with him on a project where he made these 12 sayings, these McLuhanisms, and I would put them up on the marquee of the Waldorf each day and photograph them. And so he's going to do something with them in the end.
We're just looking at a couple of them.
Because having talked to Douglas on a few different occasions, the mechanisms of his mind are just fascinating. I mean, you get into conversations with him and he says things that are just like, that's awesome.
He's from the future.
Yeah.
He is, well said. Okay, Galliano Island is the place when you're not at the Waldorf that you've been hanging out growing your beard. You also have been doing a hell of a lot of fishing. I've never seen anything like this. What did you catch?
Well, my buddy Ryan runs this place called Salish Sea Charters, and I've been just kind of getting to know the island, getting to know the place. So I've been going out with him every day. That's a 35-pound spring salmon.
This was last week.
Yeah.
How much fun was that?
Man, it fought for about like 30 minutes. We got it. We broke the net getting it in the boat.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really beautiful out there, guys.
Well, and this sort of closes the circle as well, or at least becomes part of the conversation about the efforts of conservation really have positive effects down the road as well, and a little bit of waiting.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it firsthand. Like, we reduced how much salmon we were taking out of the ocean. We even had a moratorium for a while. And then last year, 35 million wild sockeye salmon returned to the West Coast, which is more than they ever had since they started counting, right? And they were really worried that things were headed the opposite direction, but through conservation and moratorium, they brought it back, and now people can.
Yeah, and it motivates people to make those sacrifices for the long term and for the future.
It's nice to be able to tie the outcome to your effort and be able to see that it actually.
And we mentioned the circle of life and fishing and catching something like that. I mean, you have to have respect for it too. What is your message on that?
Well, we're out there sport fishermen. We are using single barbless hooks, and we take one a day, and you cook it and clean it. We've been smoking them and sharing them. It's a pretty community thing, and we feel pretty connected with the ocean and stuff.
Nice. Very cool.
What's going on with you next? Are you traveling anywhere? Or?
Yeah, I'm headed to San Diego tomorrow to shoot a big technology user conference, and then I'm headed to Baja California on a surf trip.
Tough, big
boy.
And
Todos Santos and sort of hit all the Cerritos.
Rosarita.
Oh, Rosarita.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then Burning Man.
Of course.
Yeah. So I got a wild summer lined up.
Well, we'll have to talk to you in September post Burning Man.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kris. Of course, you can find Kris and his photos on his website if you want to find more information.
Keep this in mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks,
no
guys.
single-use plastic items.
Yeah, man. It's a pretty simple thing.
KrisKrug.com. We're going to take a quick break.